What's up, Niagara? How you doing? Shawn DeLaat here from Davids & DeLaat, real estate team here in Niagara. And I'm very excited to have Mr. Matthew Sherman with us. Matthew Sherman is a client of Davids & DeLaat as well as a good friend. And not only that, local business owner. And here, Matt, on What's Up, Niagara, we don't just want to talk about real estate. We are Niagara residents. We love Niagara, and we want to promote local businesses and local happenings, whether it's community events, charity events. And buddy, your business is actually something I find very special because I love going to it. And let's introduce your business. What is your business, Matt?
It's a Showtime Comedy and Comedy Club, downtown St. Catharines. Been open there, coming up on our 5-year anniversary this October. 5 years, yeah, 5 years. St. Catharines' only comedy club, and it's exciting for us to be coming up to our 5th year.
Excellent. You know, and you know what? I've been there many times, and I'm not gonna. Every single time I've been there, it's been a great time. But not only that, when you mention 5 years. Time flies.
Time flies.
Because that brings me back to when I left Remax Garden City and always wanted to have a client appreciation event. And you were kind enough. You were just starting your business, so I think
you were kind enough.
I think
to help support.
Absolutely, I think it was a win-win for both of us, and it was an outstanding event. I know my clients really did appreciate it, and you put on a great show, and it worked out really, 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 really good. Now, obviously, Matt, there's something going on in the world today that has curbed your business
for sure.
You know, and with that being said, you know, your business had to be closed, but now you are reopening.
We are our grand reopening, starting with September 10th is our first AM night back. Amateur nights happen on Thursdays. Pretty much, it's mainly designed for local talents to come and perform, get an opportunity to get some stage time, work on some new material, and really help promote and progress the people who are interested in comedy, people who have been, you know, like watching, like performing, get into it and get to that next level. Definitely get some stage time so they can get that next level.
Get their feet wet and try things out. Well, that's awesome. You're helping local comedians get
artists,
a little.
All sorts of artists. We also do magic, a few other kind of sketch, and you know, basically it's an opportunity for local people to get up on stage in front of an audience and you know, perfect their craft and hopefully make it to the next level, which is most people's goals of, you know, being a professional or being a tourer or making a living doing something that they love.
And now I have no clue really. I mean, other than I show up at your thing and I see some comedians and they're always funny and it's always a good time. But, you know, one thing actually we've never talked about is, you know, obviously people show up to your club, they like comedy, people like comedy, but I always wonder about the other side of the business in the sense of these comedians. Is there a little underground kind of comedian culture amongst the Niagara region?
I mean, I wouldn't call it necessarily underground. There's definitely a comedy community, for sure, in Niagara. You know, there are several, what would we call them? We'd call them several, you know, events that will happen on a somewhat fairly regular basis in and around the Niagara region, not just exclusively in St. Catharines. There are shows going on, you know, in other areas, but typically it's the group of Niagara people who, not just only Niagara. It shouldn't be just limited to Niagara. There is a comedy culture and a community where, you know, if someone's on a show here and there's another show going on in London, Ontario, you know, they know each other. So what will happen is they'll be invited to perform in other shows, and it's an opportunity for all of the artists to get stage time in other markets and other areas. And what's, you know, unique to comedy is certain jokes or certain things will hit real hard in Niagara, but it won't hit nearly as hard the same way in other cities because the community is different, the people are different.
Culture's different. No, 100%. You know what? And I can attest to that. Also, just being in real estate, dealing with people here in Niagara is completely different than say some of the out of town aspect. And we're laid back here. Do you know? We're laid back. We're easygoing. You know, and so I find our humor is in that sense probably as well. Right?
I mean, comedy and humor is subjective. What one person finds funny, another does not.
Yep.
but basically, to be a good comic, you have to be able to work with whatever audience you're given,
100%.
regardless of the age, regardless of any of the things that are at stake, whether you're performing in front of 200 people or performing in front of 30 people, whether it's a late night Saturday show on Halloween evening or whether or not, it's a corporate fundraiser. You need to be able to go on there and let everyone have a good time. And so that versatility, that ability to perform under whatever circumstance is something that you don't learn unless you're getting the opportunity to get stage time at different venues and different locations.
Practice.
Correct.
For sure.
And getting that opportunity.
Absolutely. And so question for you is, I found it very interesting. We've known each other for a very, very long time. And you started this business, the comedy club. What made you kind of want to go this route? Was it a niche that you felt that St. Catharines needed, or, tell us.
There's a few reasons. The main one for me, though, is that I'm a comedy enthusiast.
Cool.
I love comedy. I've seen comedy in multiple venues,
for sure.
Not just in Ontario.
Yeah.
If I'm on vacation, my go-to would be to find a comedy club.
Right
so
on.
when I'm in New York, I've been in New York, Vegas, Boston, Philadelphia, Florida. I go to venues whenever I have an opportunity. That's a lot of it. I haven't really done too much traveling outside North America, so I haven't been able to do any Europe because I know that Europe has a completely different level of comedy and styles that we're not really privy to here in North America. But I'm a big comedy enthusiast, and also too, the partner that I own Showtime with was a comedian. He had invited me to some of his shows. I found him very funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
He's a funny guy.
Very funny. You can shout him out if you want.
Yeah, Mark Sinodinos.
There you go. Shout out to Mark.
Mark, very good owner, a very good partner, very good comic. Nothing but positive things to say about Mark. And for me, it was knowing that I had, I would say the backbone to have a partner with me who knew the industry, knew the business, was in it for almost 15 years before we started. He had been doing comedy since he was a teenager.
Wow.
And so having the right partner there was really what gave me the confidence to really pull the trigger. Absolutely. And we looked for venues for a long time. I had to find, a suitable location.
Yeah.
It's not easy when starting a business. I'm sure other people can relate.
Yeah, no, I can.
Finding the right piece of real estate. I mean, people say location, but I mean, it's not always just only about location. You have to make sure that you're going to get the right size, the right price on rent, or the right price on, utilities. And I mean, utilities are relative to size and footage, but you don't want to take a place that's too big and then you have all these excess bills, and you want to have a place that's too small and you're really limiting your profitability down the road when you grow. So finding the right location was really a struggle for us. And that took a long time to open up. And basically we hadn't had a comedy club in St. Catharines in a really long time. And I was a comedy enthusiast. So, what better way to bring comedy to Niagara than to make it happen on my own?
100%. And you know what? I'll tell you this much. When you told me the idea and that's the route you were going to go, buddy, I supported you wholeheartedly, because I personally, myself, father now, busy. I'm not the kind of guy going out to the bars or different things like that. Right. But you want to. Mother-in-law says, "I'm going to take the kids tonight. Michelle, what do you want to go do?" Perfect night out. Go out for dinner. Lots of great restaurants downtown St. Catharines, booming. Stop by Showtime Comedy Club, and not only that, it's a great outing with another couple or a group of friends and different things like that. I'm sure coming up for September, there is some new protocols that will be in place.
For sure.
We want to give people the confidence it's going to be 100% safe, because I'll tell you this much, buddy, I will be there for sure coming up in September. And you know what? One thing actually I'll mention too. First off, I want to actually bring it back for 1 second, Matt, because you brought up something very, very important that I want to take from what you were saying as far as finding your space and taking your time, and everyone's saying location, location, location. There may be other people out there thinking about a business or wanting to start a business, and I want them to all take notes on what you said. That most importantly, don't get too big of a venue. Don't get too small thinking, hey, if we grow too big, well, we'll just go find another venue. not the way to do it. Take your time, get the right space, and slow and steady wins the race in all aspects.
For sure. And with real estate specifically, I mean, I can't stress enough about the importance of having a good realtor. And this is a conversation I've had with many, many, many people. And I think we should touch base a little bit more about, finding the right venue. A lot of people have business ideas. A lot of people have goals, aspirations.
Yes.
And I tell everyone the same thing. When when you've done your research, when you have your heart set that this is the direction you want to go for it. Take the plunge, but do your research. Make 100%. Sure you don't, no impulsive decisions. Make sure you're sleeping on, make sure you're fully committed, both, with a time frame and financially. You have both of them in place to be able to make this happen. But I see it happen way too many times where somebody comes in and I'm in their store and I'm going, 50% of the space of the store is being unused. And I've seen other times where I go into a place and it's so crowded. You're thinking, like, why is it so crowded? Like, can they not, if they've grown this much, can we not find a way to make it more, accommodating for the patrons? And that goes back to, I think too, with the COVID playing a role, is that there's a good chance that some commercial landlords may be willing to offer, some capital improvements, maybe a reduction on space that, is been vacant for a while. There may be some unique opportunities in the new upcoming year with COVID and some businesses just not being able to pull through, that there may be some negotiating for new businesses. And this may be a unique opportunity for a lot of individuals who haven't taken that step yet to start their new business. But this is going to be a time, and it's going to be, a good time potentially to start. In addition to which, I stress to everybody the same thing. Don't just pull the trigger because you want to make it happen. Making it happen is one thing, but being successful is a completely different animal. And basically, you really have to do your research and find the right location. And again, a good realtor or somebody who can help you, not just with the real estate, but also, looking at the lease terms. Let's look at the terms of this lease.
And business planning and things like that.
Correct.
Too, for sure.
Not a 1 or a 2 year lease. You need an option. Maybe if the business grows, you have some kind of protection long term, but also maybe a lease that gives you the ability that if it's not working well, you can close up without having too big of a financial burden, kind of protecting yourself on both ends. And this is what you need a really good realtor or potential real estate lawyer to help look at.
Absolutely.
To protect yourself.
Absolutely. And you know what? And thanks for sharing that with people, because some people have extravagant ideas and think they just can pull a string and it all happens, but there is a lot of work that goes behind it. And you touching on opportunities, obviously COVID has had some negative effects on businesses closing, different things, all kind of that. But I don't want to stress on the negative, because I think what you touched on is positives that could come out of all of this.
For sure.
And I do agree with you that, there is going to be opportunities that come out. There's people probably already thinking of business ideas. There will be commercial space available. Businesses close, people come in. And, like I said, from one bad thing comes lots of great
100%.
things.
And there's going to be a completely different market now. I mean, a lot of push for online and a lot of push for XYZ. But what will end up happening is certain businesses may falter because of this, but we'll create a ton of new business opportunities
100%.
For tons of new business.
Absolutely.
And there may be some people who are let go from job A, but they'll be hired for the new business in job B, and there may be another exciting chapter of their life in something that they never even expected themselves 100%. To be in.
And the key thing is, this isn't going to happen overnight. There's going to be some negative fallout. Probably stats of the economy will come out. The deferrals are ending, CERB's ending, all those kind of things, and the true stats might come out. That it's not good, but slow and steady wins the race. Where everything goes down, everything comes back up again. Like I said, it's not going to be like a snap of the finger. For sure. 2021 is going to be like booming economy again. Hey, you never know.
You never know.
My crystal ball's broken. So, sure. but overall, I think number one, I think we can both agree. Happy to be Canadian. Happy to see the way Canada has handled everything.
For sure, we're definitely ahead of quite a few of the countries in the world. Not to get too carried away on politics or anything like that, but no, definitely proud to be a Canadian myself. So for sure.
I think we're really working it out. So back to the comedy club though. So
another thing you touched base on about one of the reasons I wanted to open, and I talked about how I was a comedy enthusiast, but another thing that I want to stress as well is being part of the community involvement. And that was another huge part for me. So working in my business that I do, where I met you in with a little bit of my rental business.
Yep.
I don't really get a whole lot of opportunity to kind of make work friends. I have tenants which I manage and I maintain, but at the same time, other than contractors, there's really not a whole lot of workplace environment that I get. So part of an incentive for me to open up Showtime was more community involvement, getting an opportunity to do charity work.
Yep.
Getting an opportunity to, not just meet people, but meet other business owners, get the opportunity to network, and really just get the full scope of everything that the community had to offer. We do a ton of charity work for local charities. We do a ton of fundraising. And when people are there for a good cause, everybody's in a good mood and It's generally happy. And what I will say in some other businesses that are high stress and stuff like that, not always the workplace is always enjoyable. Not everybody goes to work and has a great day. And this is an opportunity where people are genuinely happy to be there. They're here to laugh. They're here to have a good time. We're raising money or we're doing something for a good cause. And it's all with positivity. And that was another huge incentive for me to go into this business because I really wanted to be part of something positive.
Absolutely. And not only that, like I said, I think you hit it right at the right time. I think there was a niche for it. I think you really did come out right at the right time. And you're right. There was no comedy in St. Catharines. Downtown was just coming to be revitalized again. So congratulations to you, buddy. Like I said, I want anyone who hasn't been there, go there. It's a great time. Check it out. And if you have been there, reopening again, come by. So let's
September 10th is our first AM night back. September the 11th and the Friday will be our first regular weekend pro show featuring Alex Kazam. Will be on the 11th, local magician.
Perfect.
And then on the 12th will just be a regular comedy night as
Excellent.
well.
And then just maybe touch base just on the protocols in place, everything,
Currently, we're following all the guidelines from public health.
Good.
These are changing, as you know,
for sure,
weekly, monthly. So again, by September, we may have a new set of protocols in place by then. So I don't really want to comment too much.
For sure.
But definitely being involved with public health and following all the rules and guidelines. So whatever protocols need to be followed, we will be.
Because, I'm sure you're Fearless Fred of 107.1. He's a radio guy, but he loves comedy.
Right.
He really loves comedy. I think he does kind of some stand-up on the side and stuff like that. But he made the announcement that comedy clubs are reopening and sharing the word in Toronto and all that stuff.
For sure. It's coming back around. There's definitely going to be some protocols in terms of social distancing and
I'll tell you this. I want to go because I want to hear some I want to hear some COVID jokes. You know what I mean? I really, this is an
I don't doubt there will be lots.
Oh, no.
Lots of COVID jokes.
Exactly. I could really go for a laugh of just like,
Well, I think just going for a laugh. I mean, there are people struggling through this time. And whether or not you're there are some businesses that are prospering and there are some businesses that are faltering. And regardless of where you're at during this unprecedented time, going for a laugh is just something that people enjoy. Like just go have a laugh. And we're offering a great promotion, by the way, for right now that we've never done before. So it's $20 and it gets you a membership for the year.
Oh,
so
wow.
We're going more for a membership-based movement. That's something that we've introduced now, but it's something that we definitely want to implement moving forward.
Yep.
We're offering it
because you want them coming back.
Correct. Correct. We're about locals. We're about supporting, as I've said many times, about locals. And so, the one and done game for us is just not what we're looking for. We don't want people coming once saying, it was great, but we really want to go. For $20, you can come all year round. Nice. Weekend shows. I mean, so where are you going to get that kind of value?
Well, and not only that, I think, like you said too, the beautiful thing is I think everyone could use a little laugh in their life these days. And so very excited for the opening and everything like that. One thing also too, I just really wanted to touch on as well, Matt, is we met quite a long time ago.
That's correct.
And two facets. Number one is I met you at a house. We both remember the house very well.
Yeah.
It was like the house that Shawn and Matt met at.
That's correct.
Now, Matt, did you become my client right after that showing?
I did not.
No.
I actually purchased my first house from another agent.
Yes, you did.
After meeting you.
Yes.
To touch base on that, I had been working with a multitude of agents at the time, just kind of learning And I didn't want to be, at the time, I didn't understand the importance, I guess is the right word, of creating a strong relationship with the realtor. I was basically taking advice from family that said, why would you want to be limited to one agent when you could work with so many? And basically called around to a lot of listing agents.
Yep.
And had the listing agent show me the house because I had been given advice from family who they had done that in the past, and they had told me don't sign any buyer agency, don't sign a buyer representation.
There is a certain aspect of
and people believe this, and I've heard a lot of people who've done this exact same thing, even people who going with the discount brokerages, or they're listing on yourself, or going on Kijiji and listing yourself. And I've always stressed the importance of a realtor, and it's not just about a lot of people think about certain aspects of why that's not for them, but I stress back and go, for every reason you give me that why you wouldn't want to use a realtor, I can give you 10 for why you would. And the importance of having a strong relationship with a realtor, you need someone in your corner who knows the business, who understands the ins and outs,
for sure,
who has your best interest at heart,
100%,
give you unbiased, good advice. Sometimes, I can't tell you how many times.
We don't see eye to eye, Matt.
Many times. And there have been times where if I didn't have you in my corner, I probably would have made some pretty bad mistakes. In fact, I remember a time making a bad mistake and saying to myself, would I have gotten this the same situation if Shawn was with me on this deal? And I would probably say no. I'd probably say I wouldn't have.
And not only that, I also attest to, Matt, that you teach me things as well. Because like we said, we're buddies. We don't always see eye to eye. Matt will do what he wants to do in the end. He'll take the information I give him. But not only that, I have said to Matt, I can't believe you're buying this house. And you proved me wrong as well. So,
Been lucky.
Hey, listen,
luck.
You know what?
Doesn't
There's
hurt.
always a little house luck in real estate, and especially investing. So, I think we met when you were approximately 19 years old. I show you that one house. And I think the story goes on that I kind of casually emailed you, and it was an email at Christmas.
Correct. So I will tell you, I was working with a realtor, and I hadn't heard from them in a little while. And your email, you had followed up with me a couple times.
Yeah.
And then I got an email at Christmas time just wishing me a, happy holidays and Merry Christmas. And I was thinking in my head, I haven't heard anything from my realtor in almost 2 months. Yet this realtor, who I've never even bought a house from, has been following up with me regularly, as well as wishing me a happy holidays. And I don't know if you recall, but I came back in January after the holidays, called you up on the phone and said, hey, let's go see some houses. Let's go see some houses.
Buddy, I remember that. And you know what? I will tell you this. You made me feel so fulfilled, because that was the way it was back there. Grinding. I would consider you what was called a lead.
For sure.
And you were my lead. And that's what I would do. Just follow up. And I try to encourage that to my agents on the team now, that, hey, listen, just because they don't reply, you never know what's going on in their world. And you're a prime story where literally, not to even say that you really replied to my first emails, but it was Christmas and you made me feel rewarded, because a lot of times you send those emails and then nothing comes.
And one thing I would say about the email too, I think we should touch base on it really quickly. It wasn't a generic email. Had it been a generic email, I probably wouldn't have responded the way I did. But this was definitely written as, "Hi, Matt."
Definitely.
It was a personal touch. You took your time out of your schedule to wish me a happy holiday. You didn't have to. We hadn't really created much of a relationship up until this point, other than we had met the one time, maybe a couple emails. That was it.
Yeah.
And you reached out, and it showed me that you were interested and cared about me and about, I guess my future endeavors and whatever the case may be. I just
want to help, buddy.
Correct.
That's all that Davids and DeLaat wants to do is help. So met you at 19, and for those, we can agree right now, the current climate, it's getting challenger and challenging for young people to buy homes.
I mean, it definitely was definitely different today. To some degree, it is more challenging for sure in some aspects, but it's actually easier in some aspects too. That we didn't have nearly some of the same advantages when I started off buying my first place. That they have more things for, I feel like, for first time buyers that they didn't really have.
But
back
Matt,
then.
let's talk about affordability.
Affordability is not the same.
No, Matt, when you first started, we won't dwell on the prices and things like that, but
I would say that the approval process for a mortgage was easier more than 10 years ago than it is today.
Yes.
I would say that in terms of the house pricing, there's obviously more money, and there's more, it's more scrutinized in certain ways, and there's more rules for sure now than there was in the late 2000s. But like we've said, with there's also other opportunities, and where there are more programs now being geared to get people into the market. And this is a question that gets asked me all the time. The question is Matt, I want to get started in real estate. Shawn, I want to get started in real estate. I want to do it. How do I start? Where do I start? What do I do? How do we get to that next level? And my advice is always the same. You got first, you need a good realtor.
Good. Yep.
Start with that. Let's start with that. Find a realtor. Not always a family member. Just because they're a relative doesn't necessarily mean that this is the right choice for you. You should be independent in making your own decision. This is going to be one of the, if not the biggest move of your life financially. Yep. It's going to be one of. So definitely make sure that you're working with somebody that you trust, that you feel has your best interest at heart, that you feel like you can be honest with and is going to be honest with you. And you have to do your research, look at some properties. Don't pull the trigger on the very first one. No. Yes, you want to buy. Every day there's new houses on the market, and tomorrow there'll be more.
That's it. That's what I always say, Matt.
Just make sure that you look around, you find what you want, and I would suggest to people a lot of the time to get started, what I would do if I was starting all over again, and what I did, and what I would continue to do, what I did and what I would do now is the same thing, which is buying a house that offers some rentability component to it. And what I mean by that is, what made me buy my first house, what I realized was that I was at Brock University with some friends. We were going to rent a house. We were talking about how much we were just going to pay per bedroom. And we did the math and we go, this doesn't make any sense. We're paying this much money each for the bedroom. We could buy the house and pay less than half. Absolutely. So let's buy the house. So what we did was we bought a house, and me and a university friend of mine, and we split it, and we spent all summer long working on it, just like, I don't want to say just like in the movies, but just like in the movies. We literally spent all day, every day, working morning to night, working on the house, and learning and enjoying and having a lot of funny experiences.
Absolutely.
And but we had the rentability component, so we were able to rent out some of the other bedrooms to friends. That's one great way to start. Renting out rooms if you're a young person. If you're married with kids, it may be a little bit different to rent the house out. So I would give a little bit of a different scenario to somebody in that particular situation. But if you're just a couple or a young professional and you have your own place and you have some other rooms in the house, rent them out. For people who are maybe have young children in the house, they don't really want people renting and sharing certain common areas of the home. I'm all about buying a house with a basement rental or some other or a above unit rental or above second story rental, some kind of rental component to help offset some bills. This will get you a number of positives. Number one, your bills are going to be less. For sure. You're going to get some rental income. It helps for the mortgage approval, helps with some bills, helps you build equity. Number two, you're going to learn hands-on what it's like to manage and deal with tenants, to manage and deal with what it's like to live with other people. And for anyone who wants to get started in real estate investing, this is where you got to start. Because if you cannot handle or do not like handling working with people, just wait until you
general public tenant.
Right. So just wait until you get down the road. So I can't tell you, and I can't stress enough about starting off something slow and getting a place with a rental component, learning. You're going to learn basics about, management, but also learning basics about maintenance. You're going to get
home ownership.
The first time your roof leaks, the first time you got to cut the grass,
plumbing, all that kind of good stuff. Absolutely.
So it gives you that opportunity to kind of make an investment for yourself, but also make an investment to the other side of the business, which is the investment side of the business, and without biting off more than you can chew initially. It's a pretty safe investment
for sure.
And if you really, really don't like it and it really isn't for you, you have the ability to sell the house.
Yep.
And then I'm not going to be working in real estate or investing in real estate or living with tenants anymore. I get it. You'll buy something smaller that only your family lives in.
For sure. But at least get into the market. That's the number one thing.
For sure.
Well, listen, Matt, really appreciate the opportunity today. Davidson DeLaat loves you. Davidson DeLaat loves Showtime Comedy.
Thank you.
Throw out one more mention.
Showtime Comedy, St. Catharines only comedy club. Downtown St. Catharines, 92 St. Paul, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, 8 o'clock. 5th year anniversary is coming up October 2nd. And, we're looking forward to another good 5 years.
Absolutely. And if you haven't been, check it out. Get your membership because you'll go back again. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks.